Introducing Craft Your Life Project Kit Always Sunshine. So in this beautiful project kit, we have a 6x8 stamp set. This features a large floral cluster as well as a number of different sentiments and layers for the design. We do have the layering guide within the packaging. We also have a coordinating simple colouring stencil. This includes 5 different stencils to add colouring layers. We also have a beautiful die which is going to cut around the floral element, and also a 3D embossing folder. So to start with, I have stamped the large image from the stamp set onto a piece of white cardstock using obsidian ink. I'm then going to take the first stencil and I'm going to add in to place the large kind of petals that we have on this large flower, as well as the little bud above it. For this layer here, I am using the Polar Bear ink from Altenew. I'm just going to shift that stencil over and I'm going to be using the same ink just to add in the rest of the petals here. So once that's done, I'm going to move the stencil up, and this is going to add in the second layer for this large flower down here. I'm just going to be using the icy water ink to add in those beautiful shadow effects there. And then move over the stencil again, and this is going to kind of do the cupped petals. And I'm just going to be using the icy water to add those in as well. So once that's done, I'm then going to move on to the flower center again on the first stencil. For the first layer, I am going to be using the Citrus Burst ink. I'm just going to shift that over and then add in this second layer using some Firefly just in the center. I'm then going to move on to the second stencil. I'm just going to pop the large leaves into place first. So this is the base layer. I am going to be using the Firefly ink to add this base layer in. So I'm just going to add a lot of ink through here just to add the amount of colour that I wish. I am using a small blending tool here, but you could use whichever blending tool that you find works best for you. So once I'm happy with the amount of ink, I can move that stencil over, and this is going to allow me to add in that second layer to the leaves. For this layer, I will be using the Grass Field ink, and I'm just using the same little blending tool that I used for the base. So once I'm happy with the amount of ink that I have going through there, I'm then going to take the third stencil, and this stencil has like the vines and the smaller leaves onto this one. So I'm just going to kind of pop the largest one into place. So for the base layer on this one, I will be using the Firefly ink just to add that ink through the stencil. There was a darker green on this kind of blending tool already, but it still makes a very pretty looking color. So once I've done that, I'm just going to shift that stencil around and then add in the rest of the little leaves that we have here, again using the Firefly ink with that little blending tool as well. So once that has been done, I can then move on to the fourth stencil, and this has the base layer for all of the little flowers that we have on here. So for the base layer of these, I am using the Wisteria ink for those. I can then move that stencil over slightly and then add the second layer into place using Hydrangea ink. So once that has been done, I'm then going to move on to the stamp set, and this is going to have the third layer for all of the images. So for this little bud here, I'm just going to pop that into place, kind of lining that up on the edges. I'm using Winter Lake for the blue color images that we already have here. For the large flower, I'm just kind of lining up the little petal points on the right hand side. For the little stamped layers of the smaller flowers, I will be using the ultraviolet ink, and you can see that these are lining up pretty easily along kind of the top portion of each of these flowers. They are listed in the layering guide. I would check that out so you can see exactly where these all line up. So once I'm kind of happy with all those flowers, I then have this large leaf layer that we have here. And this is the third layer of the leaf. I've just popped that into place. It's going to fit in within the outline. And I'm just going to be using the Mountain Pine ink to add that into place. I do love this beautifully dark, gorgeous ink color here. Once that's done, I have this large image here that's going to add in all of the little third layers to the smaller leaves. So I'm just going to pop that into place there, pick that up with my block, and then add that into place using the Mountain Pine ink again. So once that has been done, I'm going to move that off to the side. I then have the 3D embossing folder, and I've just embossed that onto some white cardstock. I'm then going to take the second stencil, and we have 2 kind of images on here that we didn't use for the stamped image. And these are going to fit within the 2 leaves that we have at the bottom here. I'm just going to add the colour through these using some Firefly ink. I'm then going to take the 5th stencil, and this is going to enable us to kind of colour in the rest of the image, near enough all of it. So I'm just popping that into place around the embossed image, and I'm going to be using some grass field ink to kind of add the colour through the stencil there. Once that's done, I'm going to shift that stencil around, just twisting it slightly, and then add that into place onto the little leaves that you can see on the left hand side. I will be using the mountain pine to add that in there. I'm then going to go on to the 3rd stencil. Again, there's one of the images that we haven't used on that one. That's just going to fit into place onto this right hand side. And again, I'm going to be using the mountain pine ink for that. And here is all of the layering complete. We really do hope this video helps. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again really, really soon. Bye bye.